people don't realize the power music really has. Harvard did a study back in 2021 that proves that when you listen to happy music, like on a day-to-day happy music, your brain releases this chemical called dopamine,
Yeah.
which is that chemical that tells you whether to be happy or be motivated. So just by listening to music, you're already doing one step to make yourself happy, and it's been scientifically proven that music literally saves people's lives.
I saw a study recently, and maybe not a study or more of an observation, but a study in itself, that not only music has power beyond what we think, because if you expose water as it's freezing to different music, whether it be like love or anger, it will freeze in different patterns. Isn't that crazy? Like
Oh,
it
that is. I saw that. I saw a thing on Facebook about that.
Yeah, it's like that's so interesting. Now I got to dive way deeper into it, but the idea that like I've also seen it done with sand and different frequencies and vibrations. If you put that sand on, it almost looks like a speaker, like a flat speaker, and then you run the frequency, it'll actually create a design for each different frequency. The
Yes.
sand will follow it. It's so cool. So what I mean to say is like even beyond our full on comprehension, there are things going on in the background that they're still working on, like to prove like this is bigger than what we think it is. Like, because water's literally freezing when you give it love in this beautiful pattern, and then when you freeze it when you're like speaking anger over it, it hardens in like a more rigid and sharp form. You know what I mean? It's just such an interesting concept. But I mean,
I'm gonna
you're
look
right.
that up.
Yeah, but Willie's right there on the ground floor of it, like actually looking at people, and people are able to reciprocate. Yes, music is powerful. It makes me feel a certain way, but we can't explain what it is. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to really put it to words how it makes you feel, because it can give you hope. Music can give you hope when you feel hopeless. You
Oh,
know,
exactly.
it can make you feel love when you don't think you'll ever feel love again. It can draw you to things that you never thought you'd be drawn to. I never thought I would listen to Christian music, but now
Me
I
neither.
listen to it
Me
sometimes because
neither.
it's like I can't believe how it makes me feel, because I was living in such an angry place for a long time, and I was in Atlanta and I was doing deliveries, and I noticed that if I put Christian music on all day, I didn't lose my temper as much. I didn't feel as angry. I didn't feel as hard done to. I didn't feel like a victim as much. And I almost like made myself listen to it, and it was a full on experiment, and it really made a difference. But I can't put it to words what it did,
Oh, yeah. I
you
mean,
know?
you bring music that up. I love some good Christian music, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
There's a song out there, "Made for More" by
Yes.
Josh Baldwin,
Yep.
and I probably butchered his last name, but, um, I love that song. That was a song for me when I was going through my divorce, and I was like, "What am I going to do?"
Hmm.
That song come on the radio, and I was like, "Okay, I'm made for more than what I'm going through at this current moment."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Sometimes what we also say is it doesn't happen to you, it happens for you.
exactly.
Your growth, your all that kind of stuff. And music is authentic. If it's a good song, there's an authentic level to it. That's why you really connect to it. One of the new ones that I found on YouTube, it's like David Sings the Blues, and it's basically Psalms, the Book of Psalms, but it's all put into like bluesy guitar music and stuff, and
I've,
some AI generated voice singing the words of the song. So it's
I'm gonna
kind
have
of
to look that
interesting.
one up. I'm gonna have to
It
look
is.
that one up.
I
I like
think
it.
they're growing on that. I think they've moved into other books that they're starting to do the same bluesy thing for.
Are they?
Yeah.
Probably. But
It's
you brought in religion, and I'm good with it. Actually, when I went through my divorce, the night my ex-wife left, I'm a person that I've always drove and listened to music, but that night I just needed some quiet, and I was driving. Hadn't listened to Christian music in a long time,
hmm
and I'm driving down the road, and I'm talking to God. I was like, "God, I need a sign that it's okay for me to end my marriage and work on me.
Mhm.
And, not saying a divorce is answer for everybody, but it was my answer.
Mhm.
And my radio went from never being on, and the preset that it came on was never been on my radio, and it come on to Christian radio station, and it played a song, lyrics in the song was "Let Go and Let God."
Yeah.
Going down the road, maybe speeding a little bit, but I rolled my window down and flung my wedding ring out the window.
Wow.
And in that moment, I wasn't angry, I wasn't mad, I wasn't sad. That was probably the first bit of joy I had in 12 years.
Mm. Yeah.
Because see, and I think that's where we need to make the break as men, especially need to break them generational curses that we go through. Because for me, seeing my mom and my stepdad, which was abusive, so all get out, see them go through and fight all the time. That's what I thought a healthy relationship was. They went to
Mhm.
bed happy each day. They loved each other. But to me, that was a. Happy relationship.
Right.
That's what not a happy, healthy relationship looked like.
Mm.
So,
That's your normal.
yeah, I never hit my ex-wife, but the argument was there, the anger on her part that there was domestic abuse, but
Mhm.
not on my half. And I was okay with it because it's what I saw growing up.
Mhm.
And, like, my older kids and part of the reason why they got taken was we used to argue and there was violence in front of them, so it got removed for that reason. But I've learned from that, and, like, when I'd found out my ex-wife was cheating and I knew shit was gonna hit the fan, so was doing a family dinner, and I asked my mom, I said, "Mom, will you take my daughter," her name's Cheyenne, and I said, "Will you take Cheyenne with you tonight? Because I need to have a hard conversation, and I don't want her here." So, I use those moments to learn because I knew what I saw in the years past, or did even what I did from the years past wasn't healthy.
Mhm.
So, as men, we're leading our family, whether we're leading in a positive way or a bit negative way, our kids are gonna see what we do. And,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know, I hear guys sometimes be like, "It's okay, my wife is doing this." No, you need to get your stuff together because your kids are watching you,
Yeah.
or not just your kids.
Mhm.
Men are like, especially because there's so many fatherless kids out there that when they see a parent inside Walmart, a man with their kids, they're looking to that parent to see how he's treating their kids.
Right.
So I had to get to that point where, my relationship with my older kids, I get to see them, but it's being restored because of the change in me. And that's
Cool.
where you got to start. You can't say, you know what? It's my ex-wife's fault that I lost my kids. I
Right.
can't say that because I
Yeah,
played a role in it too,
yeah.
you know, and I can't say, and, I'm not saying it's all my fault. I made my mistake, but I believe it takes two to have a problem, whether it's a marriage or parenting, whatever it is. If you're in a business partners, it takes two to have a problem.
Mhm.
It takes two people to fix that problem, and it ain't going to be fixed if you got one person willing to fix it and the other ain't.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and that's the point I was at. I was willing to do everything I needed to do to save that marriage, but she wasn't there.
Right.
And I had to get to a point where I was okay. And there's nothing wrong with being sad. There's nothing wrong with being sad and processing,
Mhm.
but it's how you process. There's a lot of times, especially like we talked about alcohol. That was how I processed for a long time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You
You have
know,
to have a healthier, what is it called?
coping
Healthy,
mechanism.
coping mechanisms, yeah. So
But
music could definitely be one of those paddles. Religion can be one of those paddles.
yeah,
Golf has been one of those paddles for me. I've been playing a lot more golf and being outdoors. and being surrounded by trees and nature and feeling the fresh air, all those kind of things. But you're right, it's okay to be sad. You just can't stay there. If you stay in that sad, then you stay in that victim mindset, and then you don't really get better.
Exactly. I mean, and, golf is something I always thought about trying. I did it once,
Yeah,
but I wasn't allowed to do it because I worked so much.
yeah,
And
Right.
I've been thinking about doing it now that, you know, I do work home health as well, part-time. That way I don't have no income during winter months. I still have something.
Right.
And, I thought about maybe now that I'm part-time picking up some golfing, but I don't know yet. I ain't decided.
I
I got
we
may
found out through many, many people, and it's weird because when I first got sober, I started playing golf, which makes no sense because golf used to be one of the things that I did when I drank. So I would go play by myself, and I didn't know what it was, but I felt better being out there than in my basement hiding, especially initially. And it was one of the few places I could like I don't know, trust myself going. There weren't a lot of people. I knew I was going to be, there were at least going to be some pockets where I would be alone and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of people have, used forest bathing was one term. Just immersion into nature, hiking, whatever it may be, that really seems to get them grounded in a way, like
yeah.
being able to just go outside. I don't know if it's the extra oxygen, the sunlight, the trees, whatever it may be. It all, I'm sure,
Yes.
helps.
all of them.
Yeah, all of them
All
help.
the above.
Yeah,
See,
all
for
the
me,
above.
that's why I would drive.
Drive.
Like,
Yeah,
because as I'm driving, I see the different scenery and, like,
Yeah,
yeah.
you look at the scenery or the rolling hilltops here in the Ozarks, and when on the for me, like I said, on the religious side of it, you look at something at that, and if
Hmm.
God cared about that much that he did that,
Yeah.
what can he do for me? And I'm not saying I'm in it to get something out of it, but if he's willing to do all this, surely he's not going to leave me high and dry. That's probably a better way of looking at it than say, what can I get
yeah,
out of it kind of thing. And I was pretty lucky being a single parent. My daughter was little, loved car rides.
Yeah.
And now if I was emotional, I did it, my brother and his wife to watch her. But if I just needed to take a drive because I was having a rough day or whatever, I'd throw her in her car seat and we'd make 100-mile trip.
Hmm.
She was spending time with dad. That's all she knew. She was happy.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's awesome that you found that outlet. Yeah, I don't, what was I going to say? It was something about, what is it? Yeah, I don't know what it is about being out of your house and just kind of like moving around and then just gives you that extra bit of rest that you need. I swear I had something deep I was going to say, but now I totally forgot it. But
I'm
anyways,
glad I'm not the only one that happens to.
yeah, it happens to me all the time. That's why I listen to the whole episode every time when I'm editing because you got to make sure you catch these little pockets where you're just like brain fart.
Listen, I don't edit mine at all.
You just let it fly.
No, I do, like, but the reason I do that is because, like, sometimes I have my daughter come up and she says, "Hey, daddy, I love you." And I
Yeah,
say, "I love you back." And then she goes plays. I don't edit any of that because I want people to see that it's okay to be messed up and not know exactly how things are gonna happen.
yeah, yeah, for
Yeah, there's a
sure.
level of authenticity to it.
Yeah.
To it.
Absolutely.
However you would say that.
But
Authenticity.
Now, what would you say to a person who is right now listening and feels hopeless? What would be some words you would bless them with? Like, what would you consider like the definition of resilience, or what would you say to them to keep going? What would you go with?
oh man, I think the biggest advice I can give is remember and find out who you are, for one, because for me, I'm a child of the king, and that's gonna keep me going. For two, if you're struggling, find your reason why.
Hmm.
Um, and at the end of the day, when them days are hard, that why is gonna be what keeps you going. Like for me, my why is I want to be the best person I can for myself, but also
Hmm.
I want to be the best dad I can.
Yeah.
That's my why.
Yeah.
And there's days where I've had to strictly rely on that why. So you find that why and then find someone that can hold you accountable to that why.
Yeah.
Because if you surround your people with a lot, you surround yourself with like-minded people,
Mhm.
then you're gonna see the change.
Yeah.
And I said this one once already, but you win if you don't quit because it is so powerful that, that take breaks it down to the moments that when you get up this morning, you won, you got out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and someone that deals with depression and PTSD, I had days where that was the only victory I had all day, but you know what? That's a victory.
Yep.
And, the power of believing yourself. There's a saying, and I can't remember who said it to save my life, but it's one person with a belief is equal to a force of 99 with just an interest.
Mm.
And I'm gonna have to look it up so I remember who said it, but I've heard that. I was a teenager, so I'm talking 21 years ago.
That's awesome.
So, and that has stuck with me
Yeah.
because the power, whether it's you guys doing your podcast, starting a new business, being a parent, whatever it is, your current job, whatever it is, if you believe you're doing that job the best you can and you believe you're able to do that job, when you go into work or do the podcast or whatever it is you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
little successes are going to start happening.
Yep.
You speak it into existence kind of thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I believe in that fully too.
I love what you said. You got to find your why. That was something that was suggested to me. It was
Oh, I didn't
suggested
know
to me
there was a book.
along the way. Yeah, it's Simon Sinek. He put this book out, and it's just kind of like a practical guide to figuring out what it is really your why is. Because a lot of times we can spontaneously like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to raise unicorns on a mountain in Chattanooga. And you're like, that's just not doable. So that's just not doable. So let's figure out, a real why. Let's
Exactly.
quantify it. Let's figure out what it is. There's probably some smart goals in there, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely, all that kind of stuff that helps you get to your why if you need any help.
That's
Now,
funny that there's a book because I honestly did not know. To
yeah,
me, I just hit rock bottom and I knew I had to find what was going to keep me going, and that was finding my why.
that's
So that is
perfect.
so funny that there's a book because I've
That,
gone 3 years,
that's
4 years, and I've never known there was a book.
I think, yeah, someone helped me when I was questioning my why. Now, something that I just remember what I was talking about earlier, how like sometimes I know when I was first being told to appreciate nature, I'd look outside, especially if it was fall or winter, and be like, there's some stupid trees outside. I don't care about stupid trees or grass. It turns out that was more of a reflection of where I was mentally than what was actually going on outside. Because now that I realize that I'm not the most done to person in the world, that pretty much everything around me is a miracle and I've been a brat about it. Now I can see the tree and be like, oh my gosh, what a creation. You know what I mean? And it flip-flops on you because now your basket's being filled with gratitude. So you're like, look at this freaking tree. You know what I mean? It just keeps going, keeps going. It knows when to drop leaves when the fall comes. It knows how to preserve. It knows how to be resilient. It knows how to put, you know what I mean? It's there. You can find
Trees
a,
are amazing. What are you talking about?
yeah,
Of course they're
just,
amazing. They're
I,
they're part of the ultimate design too. They give us the air that we breathe, and what we exhale is the air that they breathe. And if you see a tree without leaves, it looks like lungs.
I have
yeah,
never thought about that.
I have never heard that
You
Has a
just
either.
full
like
connection.
you just like blew my mind there for a moment. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's the earth lungs, and we're compatible with the way or we're simpatical with them, or whatever word it is. We have to have them. We rely on them. They rely on us.
So we can't wait for the trees to amaze us. We actually have to change to be amazed. Do you know what I mean? That's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you're gonna make me go outside and look for a tree that don't have no leaves on it.
I can't wait till I tell someone that and they don't get it. They're just gonna look at me cross-eyed, but it's gonna be
Be like,
awesome.
"What are you talking about?"
Be like, "Hold on, my buddy Dennis told me. He told me."
Dennis told me, so it must be true. No.
No, that's very cool because yeah, I totally see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, and that's the thing is, take that to bit. When someone tells you something new, as like when I first started sound, I got thrown into it, running sound for bands because the sound guy showed up. He was drunk, passed out up, and ended up passing out in his truck. And what I had for DJing was way bigger than what I really needed to DJing. I had like 16 channel mixer, and I really only needed 2 channels. And they're like, "Can we use your stuff to run sound?" I said, "Yeah, but I don't know what I'm doing." Well, I had a guy then. His name was Levi, really knowledgeable. Started showing me. And through the years, I've had different people. An artist by the name of Storyteller 417, and then the most recent one, dude up in that's actually owns the podcast network I'm on. His name Bubba Starts, and he showed me a little more. You got to be
cool.
teachable.
Yeah, for sure.
But on the flip side of that, if you're the one teaching someone, come at them respectfully and don't come at it with a loving heart,
Mhm.
because too many times people come at someone crossways and it comes as judging.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's okay to help each other out, but do it lovingly.
Well said, sir.
Amen.
Well said, sir. And with that, we're going to tie a button on it. Well, thank you. Thank you, Wild Willie, for joining us. Thank you
Yeah.
for
Pleasure to
sharing.
meet you, Willie.
Yeah, thank you
You
for
too.
sharing what you're doing, helping so many people using music, which is, I think, so many people, like 99.9% people can relate to. You found a good, what would you say, a medium of, you know, figuring out what's going to make you feel better and what's not going to make you feel better. So, yeah, thank you, sir. And until next time, bye bye. so, so I'm just going to hit stop.